Hello, my name is Anthony Jones. I am helping with art direction and visual design for the Atomic Dirt team, working on their project Gambit. This is really exciting. I'm very happy to be a part of the team, to work with some really incredible talent, and more importantly, some really fascinating and interesting and incredible tabletop games. One of which, by the team Northstar, Nature. I thought this was really fun as a example of how I am trying to capture the aesthetic of what makes their game interesting and fascinating and fun, but then also fit it into kind of the style that I've been slowly developing over the past several months on Gambit, and which is more stylized, more kind of exaggerated, blockier, charming overall vision to kind of make sure that there is cohesion throughout the entire IP lineup that we have, because there's a lot of different games that we are snagging that we want to throw in as factions, and it's going to be incredible. And so I saw this cheetah on the front cover of their game, and I was like, shoot, I want to do that. And there's a couple other stuff that you could probably see on our website and all of our socials of the different examples of different characters that we kind of did some loose concept. None of this is yet final art because we're trying to get some, attention. And once we are full speed, we're going to go ahead and start to really flesh these out and really start to basically put periods at the end of sentences, cross the T's, dot the I's, and really solidify the art style even more aggressively. But this is an art style that we are already really happy with. It's just now a matter of bringing on more talent to help us execute. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show you guys a bit of my process. And I did a bit of a recording of me just kind of working on a tool called Procreate. It's on the iPad, and it's a really incredible painting tool. And I was using it to do this demo, but I also get a free video out of it without me worrying about, am I recording it, or do I have to like pay attention to the recording? I just paint and then it just automatically does it. So it's about a minute long, but I'm going to go ahead and like scrub through it once so you can kind of watch the entire process, and then I'll kind of stop periodically and scrub through after we kind of watch this together. But as you can see, it's a really fun process to be able to just paint without having to think about what I'm painting, or sort of think about whether I'm like painting cool enough for a recording. I know in the back of my mind that was happening, but something like, for instance, me recording this video as we speak puts a little bit of pressure under your butt that makes you kind of make a little bit more mistakes than you probably would normally not make if you were just kind of painting on your own. And Procreate really allows for that to happen for those of you who are interested in the software that we use. I actually love using Photoshop as part of my process as well. But to me, between Photoshop and Procreate, it's all kind of indifferent. It's just a tool. And at the end of the day, it's all about artistic skill and artistic vision to kind of help execute at the end of the day. Okay, cool. Oh, look, it added the little mountain that I actually got rid of. Sorry, I got like phlegm in my throat from eating. I literally just got done eating. So let's talk about the process here a bit. So I normally do not do a rough sketch. I actually will do blockouts, essentially focus entirely on shapes and patterns that look like the things that I want. I was using color right off the rip. The source material, if we go back and look, is pretty standard. It's nothing too crazy. It's just nature. Not knocking the illustrative style that was done here. I think all of this is pretty fantastic, and was done by obviously really cool artists. But what I would say is what's important to kind of take away from what I'm trying to say is that it's okay if you don't do line art. It's okay if you do line art. Some people prefer drawing everything out. Some people prefer blocking it in as a painter, and that's what I am. I paint mostly. Actually, some of our earlier styles for Gambit had some line art to it, but we felt that we wanted to kind of stand on its own a bit more, and so blocking it out, making it more form driven and then just focusing on overall, colors, proportions, and shapes was kind of the right take. And this approach just allows for that. And so, I mean, the game's called Nature. And I know I'm going to focus on the cheetah, but I wanted to get the nature part good. I wanted to get really cool looking clouds. I want to get this kind of cool cliffside potentially, some rocks, and make this feel interesting on its own. The environment in which we are staging our character. And I played with the proportions a bit. I realized this seemed like he was about to slide off the cliff, so I had kind of messed around. I also realized I don't know how to paint cheetahs, so I had to look at some more references and make some corrections to the proportions. Once I felt that this felt like a cheetah at a silhouette stage, then I was happy to go in there, add some volume, and I knew that drawing the dots in the beginning would be kind of a fool's errand because I was going to paint a lot of the stuff first, and then what I'll do later is put the dots in and use kind of an overlay. Also, right here, you can see the first attempt of the dots and spots on the cheetah were tiny, and that's because it's more realistic. And I realized halfway through this dot placement, I was like, wait a minute, this feels weird because the style of the cheetah is more proportionate to kind of our aesthetic for Gambit, and these tiny dots just don't make sense. And it was just kind of my natural reaction because I just, haven't ever painted a cheetah before. And so I was like, okay, I need to make these a little bit larger, even though that's not realistic, but it's more characteristic to the style of our game. And to be honest, I think I could still probably make them a little bit larger, even still. But as I said, I planned for this, and so now putting this here, and then I played with a bunch of layer modes to kind of make them look more organically applied to the cheetah, so they're not just straight up just black dots. And after this, I just kind of added more flourishing. I made adjustments to the colors, added a bit more depth with some stuff flying in the air. Maybe there's leaves, you're high up. The clouds even look like there's a lot of gust of wind. And this feels just a little bit more majestic. And I like the idea of the cheetah kind of looking off into the distance a lot. And I wanted to put something for them to look at, but then I realized it just kind of looked cool without us really knowing what it's looking at. It's just this mysterious moment that we just captured, which feels on brand with kind of the image we see here. Right? We're just catching them in their element. We're not necessarily having the animals pose and posture for us. It's a little bit more, the cameraman might be 100 or 200 meters away, pretty far away, using a pretty incredible lens on their camera to be able to capture this moment. And that was kind of what I wanted to do with this painting. But this is the overall style. Do I always paint like this for everything that we've done for Gambit? No, like I said, sometimes I do line art. Sometimes I've modeled things. It's just a matter of putting a lot of this stuff out there. And as we get more and more interest, it's going to be great to see what people really are drawn towards and for us to double down on when it comes to stylistic integrity over all the different franchises that we're really excited to play with. So, but that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this short video. I'm happy to, show more of this process. This is something that you guys are very interested in. But for now, yeah, have a good rest of your day.